Hello, this is Steve. Sorry I'm so late. I've just gone back-to-back panels and was in the discussion chat afterwards. And I'm probably not going to complete a reading, but I'd be glad to take questions. I'm watching the Discord room right now. If people want to talk to me, um, I'll even type in there. So um, Alex asked, what have I been working on? I'm working on, right now I'm working on the next chapter book, which unfortunately takes place in a time of great political and societal upheaval. Um, so um, I have two of those under contract, and they are, sorry, the next Jumper book, so the sequel to EXO. I could read something, but I literally, because I'm delayed, they have to stop this at 6:25, or sorry, at 25 minutes after. Let me see if I can find just a bit right quick to read for you. 1 second. So really, I was just supposed to be transportation, though Jade and Tara had suggested I march with them. Think about all those young women who look up to you, Jade had said. It would mean so much. Tara was nodding vigorously in agreement. Jade was in her third year at Smith. Tara was in her second. They were really big on social justice at Smith. Hell, I was really big on social justice. I couldn't blame them. I gritted my teeth. 3 years ago, someone blew up our house just because we can jump. If I put myself in the middle of an issue that already has people shooting people for crazy reasons, how long before we're targeted again? I'm not just thinking about myself or even mom, dad, and Joe. You guys are publicly linked to me. Oh, sorry. I started counting on my fingers. There's Sienna, B, Jolene, Tessa. There's Wanda and Lou and all their crew, Corey and his employees. I spread my hands. If I can help discreetly, sure, but let's not risk targeting Apex Orbital and everyone involved. And it's not just the crazies I'm worried about. This administration doesn't give me any confidence. Tara saw it. You mean not just the random crazies, but the elected ones? Jade had winced. Okay, just get us there then. The vanguard of the march crested the hill at 15th Street, moving beneath the autumn-colored trees on Garden Avenue. They were chanting and singing as they walked, following behind the street-wide two-line banner being carried chest high. Curb police violence. No justice, no peace. There were a lot of signs behind, ranging from being black is not a crime, to your badge is not a license to murder, to to the right of people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Dad and I were watching through binoculars about a half a mile away in an untenanted suite on the top floor of the Liberty Assurance Tower. We'd tried the roof first, but discovered that the police had observers posted there. The roofs directly overlooking the route all had police sniper teams. Dad was not happy about those, but it was the cluster of repurposed armored personnel carriers staged just off the square at City Center that really got him worked up. You can't do community policing when there's 50 millimeters of armor plate between you and the community. This isn't policing. It's a military mobilization against your own citizens. I saw his jaw muscles bulge as he gritted his teeth. We should pull Tara and Jade out now. I agreed with Dad, but I wasn't the one who needed convincing. It hadn't taken long for me to shift my role from transport to standby evacuation. The military surplus APCs hadn't showed up when I first dropped them off, but the number of police and riot gear had made me fetch Dad for backup almost immediately. I swiveled the binoculars back up the line of protesters. At least Jade and Tara were using neon pink cardboard for their signs, so they were easy to spot. They were about a block and a half back from the front runners, but the crowd around them was just as thick as it was at the front. In fact, the trailing crowd didn't thin out for another 9 blocks. The unofficial press estimates already put the crowd at 10,000. The police department was claiming less than 2,500, but that their intelligence department was expecting a high percentage of violent out-of-state agitators and opportunistic looters. Jesus F. Christ, Dad said. What's with the artillery? He pointed back at the square. I shifted my binoculars. Helmeted police were marching in from the side street, gas masks hanging from their chests. They were in full riot gear, not the slim Kevlar vests often worn during normal duty, but the full modular tactical vests with pockets for ceramic insets, descending groin and thigh protectors, and shoulder, elbow, and forearm hard-shelled pads. Half carried a clear polycarbonate riot shield on one arm and a 3-foot-long hickory riot baton in the other. The rest of the police carried fat-barreled long guns. Are those shotguns? Yes, probably loaded with rubber buckshot, the so-called non-lethal rounds. In front of the row of riot shields, police cars were being parked bumper to bumper across Garden Avenue just before it entered the square, even up on the sidewalks to the edge of the buildings. What the hell, I said. The march has a permit to go all the way to the city hall. The city charged the organizers serious money to set up that speaker stage on the city hall steps. Doesn't look like the PD got the memo. I don't think they're going to let them enter the square. He swiveled the binoculars up the hill. Oh shit, they're blocking off the side streets too. The crowd will hit the barricade at the square and have nowhere to go. The rest of the march will keep pushing them down the hill. The PD could have used portable barricades, but this way the protesters will be forced up against the cop cars and they'll call it MDOP. I stared at him, eyebrows raised. Malicious destruction of property. In this state, if it's a police or fire department property, that's a felony charge. The police are manufacturing a riot. I had to agree with him. Looking between City Hall and the neighboring buildings, I could see a slice of a large white and black vehicle with odd windows parked on the streets leading down the hill. I told Dad, hang on a second, and jumped to the top of City Hall. Yes, there was a sniper team there too, and a command post, but they were set up facing the square. The elevator stack and the building's HVAC heat exchangers and compressors rose up in the middle of the roof, blocking the command post view of the roof away from the square. That's where I arrived, to see what was visible from the back of the building. There was a line of buses, black above and white below, lining the street. The odd windows I'd seen had flat horizontal bars mounted across the passenger windows. I moved along the roof parapet until I could read the lettering on the side of the closest vehicles. State Department of Corrections, prisoner transport, keep away. When I used binoculars to look at the buses further down the hill, some of them were different colors with signage showing they belonged to various municipal or county agencies instead of the state DOC, but they all had the bars. I stopped counting when I passed 30 vehicles and jumped back to Dad. They've got prisoner buses lined up from the back of City Hall all the way down to the river, dozens of them, pulled from all over the state. Dad swore, call Jade and Tara. They need to move away from the crowd now. Jade's phone rang and rang before going to voicemail. I tried Tara and she answered. Then, what's up? There was chanting in the background, loud. The police have blocked access to the square and side streets. There's hundreds of them, and she raised her voice. I can't hear you over the crowd. 1 second. It was my turn to swear. Okay, got my earphones in. Try again. It's a trap. The police have blocked off the square and the side streets near it with the police cars. There's hundreds of armed police and dozens of prisoner transport buses lined up behind City Hall. They're going to cause a riot and arrest as many of you as they can. She was silent for a second. I was wondering if she'd heard my words when she said, fuck me sideways. Those bastards. Get away from the march before you get stuck in that cul-de-sac. Hang on. She muted the phone. She had to be talking to Tara, filling her in on the situation.
I'm sorry, we've run out of time.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.